said, what's the expression? Lonely or alone? Oh, I'm alone. I don't feel lonely, but I do feel, I don't know. I feel like as if, it's just sad, really. Um, some, some people couldn't accept this. They couldn't. And this is why this was a problem. I'm just going to be very frank about it. So there were and there, I guess you could say there are, but there were men, right? And the big trick, the big magic trick was basically, let's allege that the man of the hour is the is the racist, right? And the truth of the matter is that he's not racist. I mean, well, not against women, that is. He is, however, I suppose you could say, he was he wasn't having it when it came down to those who didn't want to comply with this ideology here. It's called self sustenance, right? And basically, those who have feet and hands were entitled to, if you have a partner, then you're entitled to make a family with your partner. And if you're going to be a partner to the women on the earth, then that means that you're going to be in the position of a man. And as a man, that means that there's certain things that you're required to do. And then, if you can't or you could not or you were not able to basically get the respect or be respected and reciprocate this respect to those men who basically are intelligent, or you could even say some of them are, yes, some men are sexy, but they're still, like, you know what I mean, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be efficient. Efficiency versus uh, abusiveness and entitlement and the enslavement of women and girls and children, and having multiple children and enslaving them and selling them and having children with different women and doing all of this madness was not exceptional work, right? The men were kind of like, if you're going to be in a relationship, if you're going to be a partner, doesn't necessarily even mean that you have to be monogamous. It just means that if you're going to have children, you should be monogamous, right? Versus if you're going to be in an alleged open relationship, that it would be on a practical, you know what I mean, respectable thing. Like, for instance, say that your husband travels a lot. Fine. But in the meantime, as for the woman, if you're going to be doing this whole thing, you wouldn't want to have a bunch of children with someone who couldn't measure up to the one who was on his little trip doing whatever he was doing. If you were going to at least have the audacity to have children with someone that isn't your husband, that he would at least be someone that is respectable at the equal level of him, or did surpassing. You have to surpass or do equal, but that wasn't the case, and these were not the things that have been occurring. It has been something entirely bizarre that has happened, which has led women and girls and all sorts of us astray and just disordered. And it's not so much that we are just useless entirely. Like, it's not like we're entirely useless. Obviously, we have a brain that functions enough to think, but it is what it is, basically. Whereas we've wasted a lot of our time because of the toleration of our time being wasted by the ridiculous, worthless excuses of parents that are no such thing. They're actually just criminals. So then, because we were forced to, I guess, adapt to these criminals' culture, we got screwed out of all sorts of learning experiences and all sorts of healthy bonding and all. And even the ones who are excellent as far as intellectually or as far as preservation, they too were missing elements um, in their uh, development, and such things that they were not privy or so privileged to enjoy was the element of softness, nurturing. They didn't really get mothers entirely. Why didn't they get their mothers? Because I suppose maybe their mothers were robbed of their husbands and their fathers, perhaps. And because of this unwillingness to compromise. But the thing about it is, this compromise is it's not acceptable to compromise with what is evil. And there are those who get painted as evil for, I guess you could say, maybe from your side of the aisle, you think that it's evil. From my side of the aisle, I don't see certain things as evil. All right, for instance, I don't think that it's evil to retaliate or get payment in blood those who refuse to bow down, especially when they've been using tactics to get others to bow to them. You see, tactics that are just absolutely disgusting, if you ask me. To get someone to bow down that doesn't necessarily want to bow down, not because the person before them is excellent. It's the opposite. Why should somebody bow down to someone that they are better than? It's the question that I must have answered. I deserve answers to this. Why should somebody bow down to someone who is not better than them? And then on the other side, why would it be difficult to bow down to someone that is better than you or me? It's not difficult for me to bow down to someone who is worthy of being bowed down to. And the issue became this very thing, whereas the forcing of genetics and the forcing of presentation onto those who never belonged to them to begin with, and then furthermore, the most pathetic, cowardly, scandalous, raggedy, insulting, incestuous, and just honestly pedophilic and distorted, just disgusting. Let's just put it that way, disgusting. Because somebody didn't want to do what needed to be done, and basically what needed to be done was a better father needed to be in the realm. But that was, I don't know what happened. Maybe perhaps they were on a trip or something. I have no idea. But if there were no men that were worthy of being the presentation, then the women should have they should have joined together and beat the shit out of that one who changed the dynamics of this presentation. In this presentation that you're seeing oftentimes, you see something that looks like this, but that's not what we looked like a couple generations back, or if you keep going back. And when you look at what we started as versus what we look like today, there's definitely violations, and this shit is absolutely unforgivable. So then when somebody comes in and cashes that check for you, because it goes, oh, wait a second, you've been doing what? And you've been having what? And then you're using this you call religion. You see the problem here? Do you see the problem here? Do you not see the problem here? Women have a right to say no. I don't want to share my pussy with you. Children, your daughters, have a, oh my God, if they don't have a right to say, no, I don't want. But what happened? Somebody got greedy. Somebody wanted to have slaves. Somebody wanted to play king. Somebody wanted to use intimidation like they've always done. Somebody wanted to use force. Somebody wanted to manipulate. And the best way that they were able to do that was ganging up on people, using people in uniforms, causing trauma, causing problems, abuse, rape, all of this nonsense, religion, fear mongering, all sorts of bullshit. And then when it came down to, basically when the girls got older or smarter or wanted something Like, hell no, and we're praying, and I guess you could say we're praying. They were praying for everything other than what they're demanded to pray of. They were like, we don't want this shit. And we don't. And basically, long story short, is that the people that began to be consequenced for doing this scam, basically, this scandalous, evil, most disgusting thing, whereas a big lie came about. And a big lie being this thing about God, this thing about this Yah and Yahweh and entitlement and tributes. And it's been a long standing issue on earth. It's called the extortion of mankind. Whereas men have reduced themselves to being, I don't know, willing to cooperate with that of which was not worthy of cooperating with, and then through their own support being of great assistance to those of which should motivate somebody to disinterested uh, relation, if you will. And very much so, what's worse is that those who have not been vocal, even though they've had plenty of opportunity to do so, they've had firsthand experience and been witnesses of this evil. They having the audacity to hop on board and jump on the train of which they bypass all of these things of which they haven't done. They haven't lifted a pinky, not a pinky, to absolve that of which their children create problems like such. The children that come out of their bodies creates problems like these and has characteristics and personalities and has the character and the traits and the behavior and the demeanor. Okay? And then they're not saying anything and they're not trying to do anything, and then they're lying if they claim that they don't know that these things are wrong, because we know it to be true that they know that these things are wrong. And rather than using their assets, using their network ability, using their connections, using their intelligence, using their brains, using their platforms, using their resources, they have all the ability in the world to change that dynamic. And what do? They don't do anything to solve the problem. They do what one should never do, which is to sit idly by and not say a word, be quiet, and continue to allow this cycle to keep going. And here's what I have to say. No, hell no. My thing is hell no. Yes, may you learn. May you learn this thing about what can we say? Don't cuss. Please don't cuss. Say you deserve worse than that of which you accuse others of doing. And while you've sat and you've watched for decades your alleged family do the most worst of crimes, in the skin that you're in, mind you, I guess willingly, you're proud. You guys are proud to be whatever your ethnicity is. You're proud? Are you? But then you're sitting there and you've assisted and aided and abetted in the worst type of genocide to happen in this earth, on this earth, on this earth, and it's evil. Because to take someone's children, to take your own alleged children and do such a thing, and thinking that you're going to be able to hide that or lie or try to cover it up, and it's so crazy that you would use such a thing called religion in order to justify this. And you still haven't denounced this fake God. Because he is fake, by the way. We haven't been returned to our homes. What homes? Kidnapping people, trafficking people, raping people, lying to people about their identities, forcing them into these identities, forcing. That's called genocide. You say it's a religious right and law to do these things. And you can't even admit to that? Say it ain't so. Tell us how, do tell us how are Germans, how were Germans worthy of being the scapegoat? How have the decent white men, the only people under the sun who have ever tried to resolve slavery. Nobody else has ever tried to resolve it. Those who enslave people have been happy to basically allow other people to be enslaved with them, of course, never freeing those who allegedly are their women. That just goes to show that when you have another alleged ethnicity assisting with having to relieve these ones from slavery, it just goes to show that if you're enslaved as a group of people, right? Do you really want, because I don't, do you really want the males who will allow you to be enslaved and will sit there next to you and raping you at the same time, mind you? Keep that in mind. Raping you at the same time that you're also enslaved right next to them. And you know that you're being enslaved to such a degree that it's I mean, how can you not know that you're being enslaved and being abused and being raped and it's being told to you should stick to your own. And then you're going to go through incest and all sorts of evil. And then those people who sat right by you, allowing you to go through hell and never attempting to absolve you of any of that, and also getting accessibility to your body in that way, they're going to pimp you, profit off of you, talk shit about you to everybody, laugh at you while you're going through hell, kick you when you're down, and then steal your children as well that they had to rape you to get, so that they can keep this whole thing, really, to keep this whole thing still active and going. And you guys are unmoved to do anything about that. And you act so helpless, like there's nothing you could do about that. So then when you put all of that information that I just gave you and you apply that to another region, whereas it seemed like somebody was what? Why would anybody be moved to do such a thing? Do you think just because of they didn't? You don't understand why things like that happen and how it was wrong and how it is wrong to accuse the ones who tried to alleviate the problem, and you don't see why I'm angry? I can read in between the lines and I could tell you something that I know about being in this country is that you guys lie so much, and how you all the propaganda that you use to paint people as if they're the bad ones, when in all honesty who you guys claim to be the hero never is. Who you claim is the devil. But who's the devil in this world? Which one is the devil? Is it not evident to you? Or you just love him so much? You love him? I don't. I think that everyone that is okay with and stays quiet about this evil ass shit and was in shame, because it's like how disgusting you are that you would be willing to reside with this evil motherfucker rather than to just tell the truth. I think you deserve, yeah, you do. You deserve you deserve not just the consequences of it. You deserve my words consequences. Yeah, you deserve to go. Every last one of you. Yes. You protect that motherfucker and you sacrifice the ones that had every right to be here. And you still ain't said, I ain't heard nobody said nothing. Everybody carries on like it's just another fucking day. It's not. Fucking comfortable. You're comfortable with this shit? That's the thing. How are people comfortable while these things go on? You guys don't know how to ethically do nothing. You know, sometimes let's just go over it. You have you not been able to be a witness to how people have you not heard about how people are being murdered? Good people are being murdered for what? You tell me. For holding people accountable? For driving home? For trying to check on the safety of somebody? For what? Children are being murdered because why? By their own alleged parents? Because somebody couldn't get some pussy or something? Oh, because somebody, they didn't need to be here. I don't like them. It's not isolated events. And then you guys are, yeah, you guys are sexist and racist. Yeah. But what you guys are as well is you guys are the most shameful lot to ever be talking about some Jesus or some God. Really. Seriously. That you would do that to honestly the men, shall we say our fathers, our real fathers anyways, not this trifling ass motherfucker. I think yes, and it pisses me off that you females. I'm really pissed off at you females, at how selfish your asses are. You know better. They say, well, he's not that perfect. He ain't that good. See, you guys just don't get it. You just don't get it. It's not about race. It never really was. But since we want to play these games about race, what and when would it ever take to be able to be in control over anything for the right reasons? Seriously, I hate it that I have to be a woman and it's like I feel like a better man than you fuckers in this planet. And that's fucking disgusting. I hate y'all. I really do. It's embarrassing. Cause it's like, what the fuck, bitch? Uh, I'm here to save your world. You can't save your fucking selves. These children gotta go through this because y'all can't figure out how to fucking fix yourselves. We gotta wait fucking how long for you guys to get a fucking clue? Like, what the fuck is stopping you from getting rid of these motherfuckers that are here in this planet? Seriously. Seriously. And then the people who do get rid of them, you guys want to fucking play these games about your laws. Your laws are imaginary, they're fake. And fuck you motherfuckers in that uniform as well. Yeah, that's what I said. You're an embarrassment because you're better than that, but you chose. You chose to be pathetic. How dare you use your fucking goddamn presence to do such a thing? You were supposed to be better than that. But fuck you. You protect these motherfuckers. And all of you minorities, you can go to hell first. That's where you should be currently. You know full good and well don't none of you need to be making none of these children in this planet. And for you females that are oh get that no, you know full good and well that these motherfuckers have no business making children. And since you're so fucking scary, you know how to put your hands on a little girl. You know how to do it to a fucking to a woman, but you never knew how to fucking speak up and do anything about your pedophile fucking goddamn alleged fathers and brothers. You should have been screaming on the rooftop, not having me doing discussions while you enjoy your life and trying to make the most of it as if this shit is acceptable while my fucking baby gotta go through fucking hell because you guys don't know how to do shit correct. You just sit idly by and allow this shit, and it becomes my fault. Well, that's too bad. You existed, so therefore, and it's not our fault. What did you expect us to do? What do you mean? If there's an us, and there's a you, and there's more than one of you, and you guys know how to band together to do fucking crime, you mean to tell me you don't know how to band together to do what the fuck is right? Fuck you.